Today I'm going to make a pound cake. I'm going to make a buttermilk pound cake. I have a lot of leftover buttermilk from Thanksgiving. I made a cornbread stuffing that took buttermilk, and I hate to waste anything, and whenever I buy buttermilk I want to make sure I use all of it. So I'm going to make a pound cake, and I'm going to use a long 14-inch long by 4-inch wide loaf pan. You can also make this in a Bundt pan. That's a typical way that most pound cakes are made, but you can also use one of these long loaf pans as well. So if you ever have leftover buttermilk and you don't know what to do with it, you can always make many different items and many different dishes, but a buttermilk pound cake is a really good choice. So I hope you enjoy this recipe. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to walk over to the stove, and we are going to preheat our oven to 325. So it's going to cook slow, and it's going to cook about an hour and a half. Okay, and then we're going to grease and flour our cake pan. I've already greased this, and I put butter in it. So now you're just going to make sure you get all the corners and all the sides of this. So that's our next step. So here's our pan all ready. So it's all greased and floured. Now we're going to go to the batter. Okay, the first thing that goes in is our sugar. It's 2½ cups of white sugar, granulated sugar. And then we put a cup of butter, of real butter in here. And now we're going to go to the mixer, and that's what we're going to start blending and creaming first. So this is what it looks like after you cream the sugar and butter together. And it has to be room temperature butter. And then you have 5 room temperature eggs. And what you're going to do is individually crack these in and individually mix them. Okay, this is how creamy and blended it's supposed to be. It looks really yummy. We just blended all 5 eggs individually. And now we have 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla and 1/2 teaspoon of almond extract. So we're going to put the extracts in first. That's the flavoring. And we're going to go blend it, and then we're going to alternate between a cup of buttermilk and 3 cups of all-purpose flour, and we're going to blend it all together at the mixer. Okay, here's our almond and vanilla extract in there, and now we're going to start blending it. Okay, we'll alternate with flour and a little buttermilk. We blend them both alternately, so there's no lumps. Okay, this is just how you want it. Everything is all creamed together. Now we're going to put it in our loaf pan. When we added our flour in, it also had salt and baking powder in it as well. So it had 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and it had 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. It didn't have soda in it, but those are the other items that went in with the flour. So now we're going to put all this in our greased loaf pan. And like I said, you can use a Bundt pan also. I just kind of, since I bought this, I really enjoy using it. I make strawberry shortcake with it too. It's just one of those neat kind of loaf pans that you don't see too often. And they look beautiful when they're done. Last year I made a beautiful shortcake. And it was in one of these pans, and it just comes out so nice. And it has these little grooves in the pan, like little lines. So it just has like a really pretty design on it. It just automatically is in the pan. So I'm going to fill this up, and then we'll put it in the oven. Okay, it's all filled and greased beforehand. So it's all ready to go in the oven. It's going to go in a 325-degree preheated oven for anywhere from 80 to 90 minutes. So here it is. I just put it in the oven. You can see those grooves on the pan I was telling you about. They have them on the inside too, so it makes a really pretty cake on the outside. So we're going to set the timer for 80 minutes and check it with the toothpick, and if it comes out clean, it's done. Otherwise, it'll go back in for probably another 10 minutes. I just took the pound cake out of the oven, and it's done. The edges are kind of brown. What you do is you just poke your toothpick, and if it comes out clean, which it did in all the spots, it baked for 70 minutes. It's supposed to bake 80 or 90, but I always go for a little less to check it first. And this particular pound cake only took 1 hour and 10 minutes, which is 70 minutes to bake, and it's done. So we're going to let it cool. So here's our slice of buttermilk pound cake. This is the end piece. I like all of the different parts of the pound cake, but I kind of have a little liking to the end piece, so I'm going to give it a try. Perfect. It's just got that really nice mild flavor. It's really delicious, but not real sweet, just perfect. It's got the perfect amount of ingredients. It's very I'm trying to find the right way to describe it. It's very comforting. It's very filling. It's kind of heavy and kind of fluffy at the same time. But this is a super good pound cake. And if you ever have extra buttermilk, I still have more. I still have more things I have to create with the buttermilk because I'm not going to waste it. But this is a really good option. If you want to use buttermilk that you bought for a specific, dish, and you have leftover and you don't want it to go to waste because buttermilk's expensive, I recommend you try this buttermilk pound cake. It's delicious. I hope this turns out wonderful for you.